Section C, essay 7. Comparatively a shorter essay. I recommend when you have an essay scenario that is comparatively shorter, have a good read so that you don't have to come frequently back on the essays. TOR industry, there are 6 questions to this essay. TOR industry sells raw materials to its customers in appliance manufacturing business. All right. Rochelle Smith, a recently hired financial analyst, has been asked to evaluate the profitability of TOR's 3 biggest customers. It's basically customers' profitability analysis. We have customer A, B, and C. These are the units sold to these customers. Smith has been provided with the following information, the recently hired financial analyst. So we see that these are the units sold to these 3 customers. This is the revenue at $18 per unit, discounts given, net revenue, cost of goods sold at the rate of 8.5 per unit. We have gross profit margin given. And these are specific customer related costs, customer operating cost, product handling for each customer, order taking, delivery, rush orders, and selling cost. Fine. So we have total customer operating cost 42, 31, and 24 for these 3 customers respectively. Fine. We have read the detail. Let's see now what the first question says. Identify which customer has the highest operating profit margin percentage based on net revenue. Show your calculation. Please, gentlemen, do not commit the stupidity of constructing the whole tabulated data. You will ruin your total timetable and you will put yourself in trouble. Do not try to type in the whole data. What you will do, let me tell you what you'll do, how to save time. Since we need the customer profitability and we need to show the calculations also, what you will do, you'll start with the gross margin and you need to deduct these numbers: 42,667, 31,560, and 212,500. You can give it in a paragraphic form or even column form. It will just require 2 or 3 rows or 2 or 3 lines. That will save much. You don't need this, nothing. So first what you need is the customer level profitability. So 335 less 42,668, it will give you 292,332, right? Maybe you're doing it on your rough paper, wherever. So this is the customer level profit, gross profit minus customer operating cost divided with the sales, because what is it? What exactly is the requirement? Look at the requirement. Highest operating margin percentage. So for that, you need the operating profit expressed, customer level profit expressed as a percentage of sales. This is your sales, 675,000. You'll do the same thing. 253 less 3156, right? It'll give you 221440. 221440 divided by the net gross net or revenue net of discount, that is 508, right? And for the last one, 212,500 less 24,684, it will give you 187,816. 187,816. This is what percentage of the sales revenue? 425, right? If you want to show, you can show these workings only. Just write A, B, and C. Write the gross profit per customer, I mean the customer level profit upon sales, customer level profit upon sales for all these 3, and give the percentages in the denominator. Like for the first one is 292,332 divided by 675 multiplied by 100. That's 43.31%. 43.31%. It is perfectly acceptable for full credit for A, B, and C. So do not try to redraw the whole schedule. You will only destroy your timetable. So that's how you do. Simply operating profit for each customer. That's what we calculated, 43.31. Even you can show your working this way. See, save your time. Do not redo things. So this is how simply you show your calculation. Even a paragraphic form, even you don't want to draw 3 columns. 3 columns will have maximum of 2 or 3 rows. Sufficient. Done. Question 1 is over. Right? Next question. Identify 3 factors that are contributing to this higher profit margin percentage. We have quite sizable percentage for all customers, 43, 43, 44. So what is this causing so much What is causing higher percentage? We need to analyze the given data. Question says identify 3 factors that are contributing to this higher profit percentage. Going back to the scenario. Now, the determinant of profits could be from cost side, right? So we can write it's totally your own judgment. You want to give in like maybe the discounts offered are lower per unit based. If you want to give maybe your total customer operating costs are lower compared to your competitors, right? Or you might discuss your product handling, order taking. Since it is not explicitly given which is giving us edge over the competitors, we can discuss any of these two. Maybe you could discuss discounts. You could discuss these. Any of these two would be sufficient. Product handling, ordering cost, or delivery cost per customer. And you can discuss that we are maintaining these costs comparatively lower than our competitors. Sufficient. No need to overdo. No need to drill down into something which isn't even given. Right? It would be sufficient. Fine. It will be okay. Right? So that's what is given. Lowest level of discounts per unit, we are giving less discounts. Order size are larger. That's why we have higher profit percentage. Lower selling cost per unit. Right? How can he say low selling cost per unit? There is no competitor. So we can discuss that with relation to our relation to our competitor. We have these lower costs. That's what we can assume. Otherwise, there is no further information given. Right? That's all. The higher profit percentage due to lowest level of discounts per unit, no competitor, larger order size and lower selling costs, and you can also discuss the other customer level costs. Third, the sales department has been given the goal of increasing the gross profit margin from customer C by 25,000 next year. The sales department has been given the goal of increasing the gross profit margin from customer C by $25,000 next year. If the gross profit margin percentage remains at its current level, let's see what's the current level first. Our current gross profit level percentage is, this is your gross profit. It is what percentage of your sales? 212,500 upon 425. That's exactly 50%. Your gross profit percentage for customer C is exactly 50%, right? What do we need exactly? In order to keep the same percentage, if the gross profit margin percentage 50% remains at its current level, how much more in revenue net of discount is required to meet this gross profit goal? Right. Now, since the gross profit percentage is the same, we want increase in revenue so as to get the same percentage gross margin. So we know the formula of gross margin. Gross profit percentage is equal to gross profit upon revenue, right? Keeping the percentage same, we want to earn this much gross profit. Your revenue should increase by what percentage? That's what we need. Keep your revenue here and then make revenue as your subject. Simple. It's as simple as you simply using gross profit percentage formula. Gross profit percentage GP upon revenue. You want your gross profit percentage to be the same, 50%. You want your gross profit to rise by 25,000. That's what you want. For that, how much revenue should increase? So simply you plug in the numbers. 50% is equal to 25,000 upon revenue. Make revenue the subject of this equation. So 25,000 upon 50%. It means your revenue should increase by $50,000. If your revenue increases by $50,000, 50% of this would be your gross profit. That will be 25,000, and that's exactly what you need. So no science, you just need to apply this formula and give it in any form you want, like this way. We need to increase our gross profit by $25,000. GP margin is 50%. So simply as given can be in this simplest way. 25,000 upon 50%. Enough to get full credit. Question 3 is done. These through the 2 or 3 lines are sufficient to give you the full credit. Now, next question. Recommend and explain 3 improvements in operations that would decrease customers' operating costs and increase customer profitability. 3 operating costs, customer operating costs that we can reduce. There are 4 or 5 cost givens. Product handling, order taking, delivery, rush orders, selling costs. You can discuss any 3 would be sufficient. Like we can discuss product handling, for example. What we can do with product handling, this cost can be reduced by working with customers so that asking them to buy in bulk rather than smaller quantity, they should ask larger quantity, right? So when they ask for larger quantity, our handling cost would be lowered, right? So we can reduce our product handling cost. Then we have order taking cost. If your customer places many frequent orders, every order cost takes $2. By increasing the order size, fewer orders but larger quantity. First, maybe they used to buy 1,000 units per order. If they order 5,000 units per order, our ordering cost will reduce. So order taking means we can increase the size of the order, just like in the previous case, product handling. And this delivery cost, it can be reduced also by making sure that your haulage, the trucks that are sent to the customer's premises with the goods, make sure that those trucks are used to the maximum capacity, right? Make the space fully usable to incorporate all the smaller and larger orders to minimize the number of trips. This way your delivery cost could be reduced. Rush orders. Rush orders sometimes cost more, so you can request your customers to not to place rush orders because it will be an added strain on your cost. They should notify you at least a couple of weeks or a week before the required delivery. So this way you can discuss the cost reduction that can be made in these 4 or 5 elements. Sufficient. That was your question number 4, right? Product handling, order taking, you can just discuss it your own way. Of course, cost reduction can be discussed in many different ways. 5 costs were given, you can discuss these 3. Next we have, assume that each shipment is sent to the customer directly and each truck can hold up to 500 units. That's the maximum capacity that each truck can carry. To minimize shipping cost, how many times per year should customer C be ordering? Our truck can hold a maximum of 500 units in each shipment. So we want to make sure that we maintain minimum trips for our customer C. Go back to the scenario. How many units do we sell to customer C? 25,000 units, right? 25,000 units are sold to customer C every year. Our truck can maintain or can carry 500 units in each trip. So if there are 25,000 units sold every year, 25,000 divided by 500, it means there can be 50 trips. This is the minimum number of trips, because the maximum quantity taken is 500. There are 25,000 units to be sold each year. So the number of trips, minimum 50, can't be lower than this. That's your answer. Simple. It's just one liner would be sufficient. That's your question number 5. Go back to question number 5 right here. See, customer C should be ordering 50 times per year, 25,000 units per year divided by 500 units per shipment. That's the maximum allowed weight capacity in our truck. So simply one line, you get full credit. Simple as that. Now, last question. Assume this one. From the customer's perspective, discuss the potential cost and benefits of reducing the number of shipments per order. Reducing the number of shipments. From customer's perspective, let's say I'm the customer. I'm C, for example. If I'm C, what are advantages and disadvantages for me for reducing the number of shipments? Which means my order size would be bigger. I will be ordering 500 units in each order, right? So what it will do, for me, ordering cost will fall. Why? Because I am placing fewer orders now, large size orders, fewer orders. First it was 100 and 150 orders. Now there are just 50 orders. So my ordering cost will fall. That's a benefit. That's a benefit for me, must be given in green. That's a benefit. Remember, I will have to place less frequent orders. Just 50 orders in a year would be sufficient to cover my annual requirement. I'm the customer C, don't forget that. Look at the other side. When you order larger deliveries, you will have to accommodate these extra units in your warehouse. Maybe you may have to acquire extra storage facility. Your rent cost will go up. In other words, I can say the drawback of ordering larger order size, it will result in higher holding cost. Your carrying cost will go up. That's a drawback. So advantage is that your ordering cost will fall. The drawback, since your order size is bigger, you have to have larger space to accommodate these increased units. Holding costs go up. Enough. These 2 points, enough. Do not overdo things. And that's all. You get the full credit. More frequent orders helps to minimize amounts of stock needed to be kept in hand, reducing carrying cost. Right? That was discussed in totally opposite way. From the customer's perspective, discuss the potential cost and benefits of reducing the number of shipments. Order size would be bigger. What he says here, from the customer's point of view, more frequent ordering helps to minimize amount of stock needed. But making it in reverse order, less number of orders will reduce your ordering cost, but on the other side, holding costs go up. In fact, they move in the opposite direction. You will study in your CMA Part 2, Section B, Corporate Finance. If you order smaller quantity, your number of orders go up. Right? But on the other side, since the quantity is less, your holding cost goes down. But in this case, what we discussed a little while earlier, if you less frequently order larger quantities, in this case, your number of orders will fall, but your holding cost will go up. So holding cost and ordering cost, they move in the opposite direction. And for this purpose, we have an idea called economic order quantity that minimizes the sum of your holding and ordering cost. We'll discuss in detail your section B. So just you need to remember that your ordering cost and your holding cost, they move in the opposite direction. Larger order size will require more holding costs, less orders, but smaller order size will result in more number of orders and less holding cost. That's all. So that completes your SS7 completely.